Here's something nobody tells you in school. You will have more people around you at 16 than you will at any other point in your life. More classmates, more teammates, more people texting you back at midnight. And yet, somehow, the older you get, the harder it becomes to find one person who actually gets you. Not a follower, not a contact, not someone who reacts to your stories. A real friend. The kind that existed in movies, or maybe, just maybe, in that one summer you barely remember. If friendship is so important, why does everyone secretly feel alone? Here's the paradox that no one is talking about. We are the most connected generation in human history. We carry a device that gives us access to 8 billion people in our pockets. Instagram, TikTok, Discord, Snapchat, Be Real. And yet, the American Psychological Association reported that loneliness among teenagers has reached epidemic levels. Epidemic? That's not a metaphor. That's a clinical classification. So wait, if the tools exist, if the platforms exist, if the people exist, why does almost everyone over 16 feel like making a real friend is basically impossible? Here's where it gets weird. And stay with me here because this is going to sound completely backwards. The answer has nothing to do with social skills or shyness or being too busy. It has everything to do with something that starts happening to your brain right around 16. Oh wait, weren't we just supposed to answer why everyone feels alone? Yes, here it is. And buckle up because it's almost offensively simple. Your brain literally starts treating new friendships like a suspicious email after 16. It goes unknown sender, possible threat, moving to spam. Thanks, evolution. See, before adolescence, your brain is a social sponge. It wants new people. It's designed to absorb them. But after a certain age, your brain shifts into what neuroscientists call a consolidation phase. Translation, it stops making new social connections easily and starts protecting the ones it already has. So you're not broken, you're not antisocial, your brain is just doing its job really, really badly. But here's what nobody explains, and this one is going to make you question everything you think you know about friendship itself. What if the way we define friendship is the actual problem? Think about your earliest friends. How did you make them? You didn't. They just appeared. Same classroom, same street, same lunch table every day for 180 days straight. Psychologists call this proximity plus repetition plus shared vulnerability. You were physically forced into situations where friendship was the natural byproduct. School manufactured friendship for you and you didn't even notice. So, what's wrong with how we define friendship? Here's the embarrassing truth. We've been calling friendship what is actually just forced cohabitation with snacks. School didn't give you friends, it gave you circumstances, and circumstances ran out. The cafeteria was your social life support machine, and then one day, it got unplugged. And suddenly, you're an adult trying to manufacture organically what used to be manufactured for you by a bell schedule. Rough. But here's what gets even more complicated, and this is the part that social media absolutely does not want you to realize. Why does everyone seem to have great friends online, but almost no one has them in real life? Social media didn't just change how we communicate, it changed what we expect from connection. Every platform is engineered, and I mean that literally, by teams of behavioral psychologists to give you the feeling of connection without any of the actual cost. A like, a reply, a share, a follower. Each one fires a tiny dopamine hit in your brain, the same chemical that fires when a real friend laughs at your joke. So your brain starts to get lazy. It accepts the cheap version. And here's the terrifying part. The more cheap dopamine you get from online validation, the less motivated your brain becomes to do the hard, uncomfortable, awkward work of building real friendship. Which brings us to something that sounds completely counterintuitive, and it might actually change the way you think about every relationship in your life. Why does everyone look like they have great friends online? The answer is horrifying in the best way. because everyone is performing the highlight reel of a social life they don't actually have. You're feeling lonely watching someone else's movie trailer, and they're at home watching yours, feeling the exact same thing. We built a global theater of friendship, where everyone is the actor and the audience, and forgot to build any actual friendships behind the curtain. But none of that explains the deepest part of this, the part that makes people in their 20s, 30s, even 40s feel a specific kind of grief that they can't quite name. Why does losing a friendship feel like something died, even when nobody actually left? Empty chairs, an old text thread with no recent messages, a contact you haven't called in 2 years. There's a specific kind of loneliness that doesn't come from having no one. It comes from having people who you used to be close to and slowly drifting apart. Psychologists call it friendship grief, and it's one of the least talked about emotional experiences in modern life. Unlike romantic breakups, friendship endings rarely have a moment. No fight, no announcement, no closure, just less texts, less plans, until one day you realize you haven't talked in 8 months, and you don't even know whose fault it is. And here's the part that will completely reframe how you see this, because the reason this happens has nothing to do with how much you care about each other. Why does friendship loss feel like death even when no one left? Get ready, this one hits different, because your brain genuinely cannot tell the difference between "my friend moved to Denver" and "my friend died." To your nervous system, social loss equals survival threat. You're not being dramatic, you're being a mammal. Relatable, honestly. Humans are the only species that builds friendship intentionally across time, distance, and change. And that is hard. It always has been, it always will be. The brain science is clear. After the age of 16, friendship doesn't happen to you anymore. It has to be chosen, deliberately, repeatedly, even when it's awkward. Real friendship, the kind that makes life actually worth something, is built in the moments when two people decide, this is uncomfortable, this takes effort, and I'm going to show up anyway. Not because the algorithm rewards them for it, not because it's easy, but because humans, even in the most disconnected era in history, are still wired for one thing above everything else: to be truly known by someone who chooses to stay. If this video made you think of someone you've been meaning to reach out to, a friend you've been too busy for, someone you've been meaning to text back, do it today, not because it's easy, because it's worth it. And if you want to understand more about why your brain works the way it does, why you feel what you feel, and how to navigate it, subscribe, because that's exactly what this channel is for. The next video, we're going to talk about something even darker: why most people pick romantic partners that are secretly wrong for them, and why it feels completely right. See you there.